Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Safety Systems. What is more important than the safety of your family, your property, your employees, or your business? For nearly 20 years, Safety Systems has been a locally owned leader in residential and commercial safety and security systems in East Tennessee. The new year is a great time to give J.J. Sarlis and the group at Safety Systems a call. SafetySystems.com to learn more. It's a terrific, terrific local company, Safety Systems. All right. I'm going to probably target this more to you. We'll see if we have time to work you guys in. But this segment's the Mark Pancratz Show. All right. One thing that drives me nuts about basketball, and I say this every year, is it's 35 games typically, and as soon as you lose your second or third game, every loss is the end of the world. How many losses is a Tennessee team probably going to have? Right now they're 9-3, 0-1 in the SEC. They got 17 SEC games to go. What do you think their SEC record's going to be?
Well, you look at this slate of this.
You could open 0-3 with Auburn and Kentucky.
Yeah, and you still got some tough road games, not because of the opponent. You have those, but then also you're going to Mississippi State, you're going to Ole Miss,
Alabama, where A&M got crushed.
Yeah, so I could see them getting 11 losses.
In the SEC, you could see
total.
Total.
So you're going to have another
10-8 or 11-7 in the SEC.
10-8.
Okay, so you think that, but they've still got a game at Iowa State as well.
And Iowa State's 9-3. They've beaten Iowa. They've had some good wins.
All right, so let's say Tennessee goes 10-8 in the SEC and they lose at Iowa State. They're 19-12. Great strength of schedule. They'll probably get an NCAA bid at 19-12. Mm-hmm. So are we just going to freak out for the next 9 losses that it's the end of the world every time they lose? I mean, 21-11. I mean, 21-10 is a possibility. 20-11. I don't think this team's going to win the SEC. No knock on them, but I don't think they're going to win the SEC. So you're basically just looking at tournament resume. And if that's the case, I would be taking more of a big picture view than losing my mind or overreacting to every victory as well. Mm-hmm. Basketball to me is too much of a roller coaster. As a former staff member, how do you look at it?
Well, I think it's the way that you lose, and some of these things are controllable. You know, Arkansas, yeah, you got out to a great start, but you had control of that ball game. That's a game that you've got to win. So as a staffer, I'm looking at, how could we have made an adjustment so that we didn't let it unravel down the stretch? How can we continue to improve to where these guards can mature and we can get Grant and Admiral in position to win basketball? How do we get Bowden more shots? So as a coach, I'm looking at how we lost and how do we make adjustments, understanding what that big picture is.
Yeah, there's an NFL philosophy that a lot of teams have, a lot of coaches use. Basically, every month you got 4 games, go 3-1 every month for the 4 months. You're 12-4. You're probably going to be a 1 or a 2 seed and have a bye into the playoffs. So it's focused, just a small group. I wish there were a way to do that with basketball and just say, okay, well, these next 4 games, just go 3-1. You go 3-1 every time, and that would take a little of the roller coaster reaction to it out of the deal. But that's just me. I'm prepared to fully deal with this is the end of the world. They're choking losers.
The Pat Summitt philosophy was everything's about being ready for March, and I think that's the much better way. Let's learn as we go, but it's all about being ready to play our best basketball in March.
And this team has issues. I think you've seen 2 where they didn't hold on to the lead and they didn't close it out. At the same time, is it fair to say, from what we've seen so far, and this may change, but what we've seen so far, they can play with just about anybody, and they can play well on the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, they play with the #1 team in the country. Of course, that team got beat yesterday.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, they did. And North Carolina's pretty darn good. I think they're an NCAA tournament team. I do. I thought that before the year.
They have a winning foundation. Arkansas doesn't necessarily have a winning foundation because they're not defensive. If they're not making shots, they went 6 for 6 in overtime. That's why they got their lead, because they just made tough shots. Tennessee typically has the defense and the rebounding to be successful on the road.
We need to get quick here. Let me put up some numbers here. I thought this is interesting. Guarding the guards. This is Tennessee against their 7 Power 5 teams they've played. They're 4-3. You see that over there. I've got the guards, the 2 starting guards listed for each of these games. The number of points for the starting guards, and then that's next to the number of total points for their team, and then the percentage. Against Arkansas, making them 33 points yesterday, they got 45% of all their points from 2 guys, their starting guards. 46% of North Carolina's points came from their 2 starting guards. 40 for Georgia Tech, 40 for NC State, 38 for Villanova. Is this just a statistical anomaly, or do you have an issue with the way Tennessee guards?
No, because even against Furman, the Sibley kid was their leading scorer. I mean, their ability to guard guards and keep guys out of the paint. Arkansas was getting layups yesterday, and we're continuing to take contested jump shots. So we've got to continue to get better. That was our downside defensively last year, and it's got to improve.
Tennessee plays Auburn next. That's Tuesday. What's the key to the game?
Their guards. They got two guys that are leading scorers at 16, and then they better be ready for pressure. Auburn's going to be licking their chops, seeing the way that we handled some of that pressure, because not just turnovers, but it does. The pressure against Arkansas got us out of our rhythm. We took some bad shots, and they better be ready for that.
Hot seat question. You played for him. You coached under him. Bruce Pearl's a friend of yours. He's got the FBI thing going on at Auburn. Doesn't know that it's connected to him right now, but there were some issues about him not cooperating with Auburn's investigation, supposedly, but he's winning games. Will this be the last time Tennessee faces Bruce Pearl at Auburn?
I took the under on if he would even make it to this point, being the head coach now. The more that dig into it, and the winning does have a thing of it, I think he will be back if he continues to kind of stay back from being in conversations and not talk. And continue to win basketball games.
And if the whole thing gets looped into the one assistant coach, Chuck Person, that helps him as a lot more too. Mark Pankratz, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. See you next week as always. When we come back, we still got to talk about conference strength in football. We're going to talk about the college football playoff. But next, the #1 story of the year. Crazy football season. Come on back. We'll talk about it.